So, two videos in the same day. Must be a heck of a lot going on in terms of Chinese interference in Canada. Well, it's coming to a head. And what a lot of Canadians don't understand is that Canada is already compromised by the corrupt centralized Politburo, and that many of our institutions are heavily influenced and they're being nudged by uh, actors who are part of the United Front Work Department network in Canada, and our own Prime Minister. Um, a little bit of history. So, the current Prime Minister is uh, Carney, and he has been in a role previously as central banker in the Bank of England, where he pursued deepening of ties with the Bank of China. Uh, and he's also part of a network of uh, business uh, corporations and associations, including the Canada China Business Council, or as I prefer to call them, the Co-option and Corruption Beget Compromise lobby. He's part of that lobby group and had lobbied previously. So he was part of he was a main advisor of the Trudeau government. So I'd say he used to be a CCBC lobbyist. And now the lobbyist has become the prime minister. And so the fact that Carney went to China before he became prime minister, just a few months before he became the Prime Minister of Canada. He went to China and negotiated a very large, we're talking multi-billion-dollar loan with the Bank of China. And that was all done on behalf of Brookfield Asset Management. And so shortly after Carney, he kind of faked this China hawkishness during the election, probably to fool some conservatives to vote for him. It seems to have worked. But then he pulls a 180, similar to what Yanukovych did in Ukraine in 2014, which triggered the Euromaidan. So Carney pulls a 180 and shows his true colors as just another one of those lobbyists tied to the CCBC clique, as I would call them. And so he's coming to power as the Prime Minister of Canada uh, on the tail end of having signed this multi-billion-dollar loan with the Bank of China on behalf of Brookfield Asset Management. And now he's spending like it's nobody's business, and it's all somebody else's money on infrastructure projects, which to a large extent, many of these contracts are most likely going to go to his friends at Brookfield. Um, and so effectively, he was setting things up so that that's what it appears like. Carney is essentially taken out a large loan with the Chinese Communist Party's central bank, then becomes prime minister, is now spending a lot of money, which great, that's fine. But it's all getting, a lot of this money is going to be flowing to the same friends of this clique. A lot of those corporations associated with Brookfield. So essentially, Canadians are paying back a multi-billion-dollar loan to the Central Bank of China um, as part of what? A deal, co-option, compromise by the very person who leads this country currently. And we all have seen the reports out there suggesting that, the United Front Work Department, the CCBC network, click, um, have also been involved in fundraising activities associated with underground banking, money laundering associated with Chinese triads, casinos, underground casinos run by United Front organizations, helping to facilitate fundraising of the Liberal Party, both under Trudeau and again under Carney, most likely. We've seen, those Trudeau's pay-as-you-go kind of fundraising events with showing him sitting down, taking photos with individuals connected to organized crime. So what are we supposed to think of Carney, who is associated with these very same actors, entities, networks, and cliques within Canada? Very concerning time for Canada right now because we can't seem to get a deal with a trade deal with the United States because the United States isn't going to tolerate this level of compromise in Canadian political and business elites and have put their foot down. And many Canadians don't seem to be making any of these connections whatsoever. And it's quite frustrating for those, I believe, who have been seeing this stuff playing out for years, the patterns, the trend of compromise, the same actors, the same stories coming up over and over again. And it's coming to a head now. Canada is compromised by the corrupt centralized Politburo, unfortunately. And good luck to Canadians trying to get out of this one.